Ricochet Rabbit.
All right. welcome, Brian Scolaro. Welcome, everybody who's been tuning in, watching us, sharing this live. We are Toking Today, and this is Brian Scolaro.
Hi.
Welcome, Brian. Hey. Welcome, Brian. Brian is a comedian, actor, a good friend.
Thank you.
And he's been in the industry for quite a while. In the
2000?
In the film industry, you've been working since 2000?
Comedy, stand-up comedy since 95, seriously. My first show was 92, but I started taking it seriously in 95, and then acting came in at 2000.
Wow.
Sidney Lumet was my first guy.
Sidney Lumet.
Yeah. Well, first I did a Wendy's commercial.
Uh-huh.
So I went from Dave Thomas to Sidney Lumet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that Wendy's commercial, did you audition for that?
Yeah.
Was that in Los Angeles, or was that New York, or where were you at there?
Auditioned in Los Angeles. This is back when they had money.
Uh-huh.
And so I got into SAG from two Wendy's commercials, and they taped in Florida. So they flew us out first class on a plane and to Florida. And I met Dave Thomas. I worked with Dave Thomas.
Oh, so you actually saw him,
Yeah.
Mr.
And Cam Neely was in a commercial with me.
Wow.
I didn't even know who he was because I don't watch sports.
Uh-huh.
So my brother was excited, but he was just...
That's funny.
But anyway, I met Dave Thomas. He was very nice. We had to spit. They said, if you want to spit the burger into a bucket, so we don't... And then Dave Thomas says, maybe Dave Thomas goes, well, why would you want to do that? And I thought that was just... He's probably told that joke like a million times.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Every commercial, huh? Yeah.
It was very nice.
Well, that's cool, man. So
Now he's dead.
Did he sign the check himself?
Yes.
Wow.
With ketchup. Sorry. I just woke up. It's fucking... Just so you know, they live an hour and a half away from civilization.
So he is an hour and a half at least awake.
No, I mean,
yeah, I know, but you've been at least an hour and a half since you've been out of bed, at least.
At least.
So don't be saying that you're too tired now, my friend.
I am pretty tired.
We are way the fuck out here, though.
There's nothing here.
We are on the edge of the desert.
It's really quiet out there.
Well, I really appreciate you making the drive out here.
I thought you were going to kill me.
No. I mean, that's the thing. You know, Brian's all the way out at Stir Crazy Comedy Club tonight.
Westgate, yeah, that's a great club.
Way out Westgate, and we're all the way out in East Mesa, which, if you know anything about Phoenix, those are two ends of Arizona, basically.
And I didn't know that, which is why I said yes.
Which I appreciate Brian coming out today.
I was fucking around.
No. And, I do call it to Los Angeles, and when I am in his neighborhood, I ask him to come out, and he does not. So it's cool that he comes out when he's in my neighborhood, not even close.
Yeah. And Los Angeles is just like work. It's just like an office to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people come to town, unless you're a girl who's gonna at least give me a shot, then the answer's probably gonna be no.
We have no shots here, huh?
Yeah. But it's weird how you come from New York and everything is, you can do 8 things in one day.
Right.
And LA, something about it is I'll do one thing.
Yeah. If
I go to the supermarket, I'm done for the day. Isn't that weird? Because that's what LA is.
It's traffic. It's the people. It's too much. It's just too much.
In New York, I don't know. You keep going out. You don't want to go home.
Huh? Do you think the energy in New York, the people give you better energy?
I think New York is not so much New York and LA. It's just New York in itself is one of the most amazing places on earth because it really drives you. So you want to succeed in whatever you're doing because of the building and the lights. But New York has always been that way since it was formed. We watched that Burns documentary about New York, which is awesome. It's on Amazon.
I'll have to check that out. I've not seen that.
It's really good. And how it's been a drive ever since it was formed. Like from the very start, it was a real estate deal.
Right. So
from then on, it was all about making money and proceeding and art to art and just go so in politics and just drive. And then everywhere else I find is not so much. So it's like I moved to LA in 2001 and I had to shift from being driven to not driven. So I'm like really split in half. I don't know who I am anymore.
Well,
like I want to do things, but I don't really want to do them.
Yeah, LA has that sense of there's just money coming in, and you don't really have to work for it, and that's the unfortunate thing because it's the hardest place to make it.
LA is interesting. When you're working, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
To go to those parties, like when I was working, I met Matt Groening, and then I met Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman was dancing, and my girlfriend was with. I was like, Mrs. Leachman, I just want you to know I'm a really big fan. She kept dancing. And she grabbed my girlfriend and just started making out with her.
What?
Yeah, I know. And it just made me laugh. I was like, Cloris Leachman was making out with my girlfriend. My girlfriend was confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's dead now.
What? Your girlfriend? No.
That's what I meant. I think Cloris Leachman was fine.
Yeah.
I loved her.
Yeah,
Did you ever see High Anxiety?
Yeah, just her Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Just that.
Was it Malcolm? Yeah, it was
Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah,
but she was always great.
Yeah.
High
Society was a good one too. Yeah.
High Anxiety.
High Anxiety. Why did I say?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyway,
But High Society was a good movie.
I derailed your interview with Dave Thomas and Cloris Leachman.
Well, Cloris Leachman. I originally had her in mind for our comedy Mitch and Stu, and it had an old a crazy granny part in there who just went nuts, like a S&M style.
Great.
And the producers had her in mind. I guess they were connected to her at one point. And I just thought that would be an awesome part. And then hearing that story from that just really seals that in. That would have been hilarious.
In High Anxiety, she ties up Harvey Korman and beats him with a.
So I think that's where we're getting. I don't think I've seen High Anxiety.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, I keep on saying High Society.
You pretended you did, which is what was cool.
Because I thought you said High
Society.
I've seen that, but I don't remember Cloris
High
Leachman.
Anxiety is a Mel Brooks movie. He did after Young Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
It's all based on Hitchcock genre. And it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I have heard of it, but I have not seen it.
It's actually going.
High Anxiety.
High Anxiety.
Okay, so if you guys have seen that.
Madeline Kahn, she's fantastic in it. Mel Brooks he really knew how to write for women.
Yeah.
He really did.
I think Mel Brooks was just an amazing writer, just beginning to end. I mean, the stuff he throws in there and the edge he walks, nobody else even tries.
No, I think when he dies, we're officially done. As a comedic race.
But he's not, and he's out there, and that's a great thing.
Okay.
He's still doing it. When I was doing the Bringing Home Hollywood documentary that we talked about earlier, I got him out there. He was getting his star, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, with his star on there.
Cool.
And that was like years after his after everything he's done. It's amazing who gets their star and who does not. Like who waits till the end of their career and who gets it before their career even starts.
I think it's just money, isn't it?
I think they have to buy it.
Or somebody buys it for
somebody buys it for you. And nobody just thought of him.
Sometimes you see cool things like Don Knotts' star is right near my house.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know that until he died. And as I'm walking, there's all these candles and stuff. And it was Don Knotts, which I thought was nice that people went to Don Knotts.
Yeah, you do see that.
I was a huge Tim Conway and Don Knotts fan when I was a kid.
Yeah, I definitely like Andy Griffin. Just that high anxiety, just the whole Don Knotts.
He was great. Andy Griffin always said when Don Knotts came up to me and said, "I think you could need a deputy on the show," and he goes, "All right," and because they knew each other from No Time for Sergeants. And then he put him on the show, and he goes, "I knew immediately it was now the Don Knotts show."
Wow,
which is pretty.
He stole the show.
But I love that about Andy Griffith that he was like, "This will be better for the show."
Yeah.
When Henry Winkler became the main focus on Happy Days, the rest of the cast was like, I don't know if they would complain, but basically they were all on board. When Jaleel White took over fucking Family Matters, and then I've done shows where I'm a guest role, and I start to get a lot of laughs. Next time I'm fired. Nowadays they don't want you to overshadow, but I used to love Cheers when Harry Anderson would come on. John Cleese.
Yeah.
Just their guest roles were great.
Yeah.
You talk too much.
Harry Anderson on Cheers was always. I was a magician as a kid.
Say? Harry Anderson.
Yeah, Harry Anderson as a kid. Not Pamela Anderson. You worked with Pamela.
Well, I thought you said Pamela.
No. Harry Anderson did do Cheers. I do know that.
Yeah, he was great. Harry the Hat.
And he did some amazing magic. That was what inspired me as a kid, was to take that little bit of edgy magic. When he would do like the handcuffs and the hand would come off. And that kind of stuff. It just kind of inspired me to make that little movie magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. I really liked Harry.
Amazing Jonathan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Amazing Jonathan. Did you see that documentary recently?
No.
It's really, really insightful, and it's really crazy because he goes from I'm not on drugs to let's do meth together. And to see him in this stage in life is really unfortunate, but he's still trying to perform. He's still doing it. He still has the same act, first off.
Okay.
He's just been doing meth this whole time. And, he's the Amazing Jonathan in his head. He's still that guy. And you see the...
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I thought he died of cancer, right?
No, he's still alive. And that's in this documentary, everybody thought he was going to die in like a couple years. And
he didn't die?
He did some major fundraisers. And instead of dying...
I want to look it up.
He's doing meth. And there's a question is, are you scamming people?
Are you what?
Are you scamming people? This is what came up in the Amazing Jonathan documentary. Are you taking money from people for your disease? And he said, I was diagnosed with this. I had 3 years to live, and this could be the end. And they thought it was the end, but I'm still alive. And so at the end of the documentary, it kind of leaves you up in the air. Was it for real or was it not?
I don't know.
But he's still alive.
I've never met him.
I never met him either.
I could have sworn he died.
I met associate. So I used to go to these magic meetings as a kid in Las Vegas, and he came through there a couple times, but I never actually met him personally. But I've actually been in the same room with him.
Right.
I've seen his presence, and he's a superstar when he was out there. He draws a crowd, and people love him.
I totally thought he was dead. I've been saying he was dead for years.
No, he's been alive, and that's the whole thing. People thought he was dead.
Yeah,
but
he's still alive right now.
He sold everything he had.
Wow.
Yeah, at one point, and he's doing meth.
Wow.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but the people are trying to get him back. And so at the end of the documentary, I think he's trying to get his life back together, but it's not the best. And
Wow.
yeah. So he probably wishes he died.
Yeah.
But he did not.
This is sad.
Yeah, it's crazy and unfortunate. But the things about when you're in the public eye and you have these internal demons, what are you gonna do? You can fake your own death, which happens, or you can live through it. And sometimes he could have faked his own death. He could have said, "Yeah, I did die," but he chose to actually.
Well, we're assuming that he was lying. Maybe he really wasn't going to die.
Oh, right, and that's the other thing. I don't know, and that's what the documentary does. He did go to doctors, and so there is not an actual diagnosis on paper. But it's him and his wife, and they're talking about this. Yeah,
I guess I'll have to watch that.
It's a good documentary. It's on Hulu. But definitely check it out.
That's the one I don't have.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
the only
Amazon
one.
Prime. I got Netflix.
Man, I think it's on something else. It might be on Amazon Prime. You should definitely double check on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I'll look.
But yeah, I think the Amazing Jonathan documentary. And the other thing is, there was 2 other documentary crews filming this documentary at the time. So he had 3 documentaries going on at the same time. So he was actually kind of fucking the documentary guy over while this was happening. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a crazy insight to who he is and his life and whatnot. It's
Really?
very, very, very insightful. Wow. Which is, kind of what goes back to what we're talking about, Hollywood and what it does to people. And you go out there to make it in the industry, and then the industry leaves you, and you're left with what? You're trying to struggle. You're making it as a background actor now, or you're doing side gigs, or you're doing stand-up comic, and that's what we talked about. You came up as a TV star, right? I mean,
No, well, it's just we were talking about the writer's strike.
right? Yes,
That's what you're talking
That's
about?
when I came out to LA. I came out in 2007.
What a
and
horrible time to come.
Exactly. I had an option with a movie when I went to LA, and immediately when I got there,
Sure.
it stops. And
I had friends kill themselves and quit the business, and
yeah,
a lot of the actor friends I had here, I'd say about half of them moved away.
wow.
It killed everything. So we were talking about how the writer's strike knocked everybody down a peg. Like after that was the economy collapse. So for 3 years there was very little work. So a lot of people
Right.
lost their. If you were with a first tier agency, you got shoved down to a second tier agency. If you were a director of movies, you got shoved down to director DVD movies. And if I was a regular on 2 network pilots and 2 network sitcoms, and I went from a regular to a guest role.
So you were working on 4 projects at one time.
No. What I'm saying is,
Okay.
in 2001,
I got you.
I did an NBC pilot. 2001, I did an NBC sitcom for a year and a half. And
Gotcha.
then I did an ABC pilot. Then I did, then there was a CBS holding deal, and then there was a Fox pilot and Fox sitcom for 2 years.
Wow.
So
In that span.
and I was a regular, meaning my paycheck was much better, health insurance, my treatment was much better. And I think, one thing matters in Hollywood is momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And my momentum was killed with the writer's strike. And so now I'm a guest role actor, and it's the money is, and I know it sounds like people why are you there? You complain when you get to play pretend. Really, I worked
Right.
so hard on everything else just to make ends meet.
Just be able, yeah.
Yeah. So the point is, I got shoved down a level, and so now it's a lot harder because the guest roles pay
Well, let's
really badly.
let's back up to when you were on the level before. So you're talking
Those were good times.
what year was this now?
2001, I did an NBC sitcom.
And that was Stacked?
No,
I'm sorry.
That was with Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Okay.
At that time, she was Tiffany Thiessen.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Mackenzie Aston, who was
Yeah.
the brother of Samwise Gamgee. And Andy Blitz from Conan O'Brien. But anyway, so that show didn't make it. But the writer on that show worked on another show, and he mentioned me to that show. It was called Three Sisters. Nobody remembers it because 9/11 happened. And
Wow.
we were also following Emerald, sitcom Emerald.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
Wow.
So, and what happened in Emerald, there was a lot of funny people in Emerald.
Right.
But nobody gave it a shot.
Yeah.
So, in turn, nobody really gave us a shot. We were in a bad placement. And
Right.
9/11 happened. Nobody really cared about sitcoms for a while. But anyway, so I did that for a writer from that show mentioned me. I auditioned for it, and then they gave me money to move out, and then I was doing it. So that was 2001, 2002. In 2003, there was an ABC pilot. They wouldn't release it. We reshot it again, did a second episode. Tom Shadyac. You know who Tom Shadyac is?
I do not.
The director of Ace Ventura.
Okay.
And the director of Nutty Professor.
Oh, wow.
Has done some good shit.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he does Bruce Almighty.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So he quit the business for a long time. He was in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, goodness. And
he decided that he wanted to do something good for the world instead of making movies. I think he's back now. But anyway, he was a really good guy.
Right.
And so then then 2004 was a holding deal with CBS. 2005, I did the Fox pilot Stacked, and that got picked up.
That was in 2005. Okay.
So that was 6 episodes first season, and then like 19 or 15 for the second season.
That had a huge cast on it. I mean,
it was a huge cast.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd,
Right.
Pam Anderson, and the writer is the writer of Modern Family.
Okay.
So we had it was great. It was probably one of the best times and worst times I've ever had.
Right.
But it was tremendous fun, and a lot of people didn't give it a shot because it was called Stacked.
Right.
So they thought it was all going to be tit jokes.
Right.
And then it wasn't.
Right.
And then
So it had a little bit of a.
and then the second season came and we had no promotion because the president of Fox changed.
Uh-huh.
And so that new person didn't like Pam's salary.
Wow.
But the first season was terrific. Christopher working with Christopher. One of the best moments I ever had in my life was I remember the end of the first season. The head of Fox ran downstairs and then picked up the microphone and said to the audience, "I just want everybody to know I just picked up Stacked for another season." And he goes, "Congratulations!" And everyone went crazy.
Wow.
And I looked to my right, and it's Christopher Lloyd, and we just go, "Ah!" We just hug. So the fact that you could have that moment with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Now, little did I know, because there'd been a direct through line from first grade to this moment.
Uh-huh.
So little did I know that the writer's strike was around the corner,
Right.
followed by the economy collapse, and everything I had worked for since first grade was going to be pulled out from underneath me.
Wow.
And now I'm on the road talking to you in a fucking desert.
Yeah, well, it's a nice little studio we got set up here. We got the Halloween backdrops
I was
going on.
I was making a joke.
I got your nice little Diet Dr. Pepper.
This is great.
We accommodate.
I could use some ice.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kidding. I was joking.
We'll call that in. We'll Uber Eats the ice.
You can't get me stoned and take things seriously.
And what'd you just say? You didn't just say that.
I didn't say that.
You didn't just say
ABC's
that.
not
Disney's
hiding.
watching you.
But now I'm a guest on. That's what you wanted to hear those stories. You wanted to hear about how things changed.
And that's the thing, you were working with Christopher Lloyd, Pamela Anderson, these great writers, and then now you're on the road doing stand-up comedy. Do you find yourself not auditioning as much? Do you find
I do something. I mean, I do guest roles now, and so that's and nobody knows who I am anymore because casting directors change and executives change.
So that's the whole thing. Now, everybody who once cast you now is in different positions. They moved on. They're doing different things.
Everybody. The writer's strike was really, really bad. I remember talking to Tracy Morgan about it, and he was like, "Well, what do you care? That was years ago. You could do that."
Wow.
But my head was like, "You were famous already, man.
Right.
It's different."
Right.
And I know people who fucking killed themselves
because
they had shows about to be. They worked their entire life like I did. They're talented, and they get to the moment, have a show being made, and they pull it because of the writer's strike.
Wow.
And he just became a staff writer and took his own life.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, it's really bad.
Yeah.
And so what's really frustrating is that it's through no fault of our own. Like when I go to a comedy club, let's say in Wichita, and I fuck up, I know I fucked up.
Right.
I know. I may not admit it to everybody, but I know.
Right.
But none of that was anybody's fault.
Right.
Like any of the actors, and we all are paying. We all paid for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now it's frustrating to watch a new guy in his 20s just skyrocketing. Like, yeah, I was doing that too, man.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
And there's that's, and
anyway.
You paved the way for that to happen, and now it's
just weird now.
And
but if it was my fault, I don't think I'd be so upset about it.
Well, yeah, no. The fault is that you have to sit there and remind people who you are all the time. Every time you go in, you have to hand them a resume. Yeah. You have to tell them this is what I've done.
But it was a nice little. I had fucking 10 really good years. I mean, from 1995 to 2010 was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the last 2 years because the writer's strike were bad, but I still had that money.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this. girls like money, and so it was a good life.
It was easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was like, what do you want to do today? All right, we'll go to Disneyland again. Let's do it. You know, what do you want to do? You know, I didn't go around buying cocaine and yachts, but it was fucking.
You're still living a good life. Yeah.
But anyway, so now I do. I just did Shameless. There's a show on ABC called Million Little Things with James Roday from Psych.
Right.
And I've done 2 episodes of that. Another one's out. The second episode's coming out. And you know, I've worked on Mad Men. I've had some other very interesting experiences.
Do you work with agents?
My life is not sad.
Yeah.
It's just it's only sad now. I used to have a Fox network executive or an ABC network executive coming up to me and go, "Hey Brian, that was great," and you go, "Thank you." Now I got a club owner in Wichita going, "You got off in 43 minutes. It's supposed to be 45."
Right.
I was like, I knew this is a story I want to tell you downstairs. The moment I knew my career was over, because I just started to have to play the road. So I land in Kansas City. No, yeah, it was Kansas City.
Missouri or Kansas?
I forgot. It's on the Kansas side.
The worst side.
On the Kansas
side.
But a woman picked me up from the airport, and she said, now, you got to remember, 2 years ago, I was on television being paid $32,000 an episode with Christopher Lloyd.
Wow.
You know? So now, Carmen Electra rubbing her ass on me.
Yeah.
And now, it's like, this woman goes in the car. She's a pickup truck. She goes, "You want to meet my squirrel?"
Oh, my God.
And I was like, "What?" She goes, "Do you want to meet my squirrel?" And I was like, all right. So she opens a cage, and a squirrel comes running out. A squirrel.
Just comes running out.
And thinks I'm a tree, and runs all around me.
Holy shit.
Stops on my head. I remember the claws are in my eyes. And I have to pretend it's good. I'm like, "Oh, that's great." You know? But right then I knew my career was fucking over. I did. That was the moment I was like, I have now entered the downward spiral.
Well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at, you know what, I'm gonna be a late night TV show host, and when they bring the squirrel out, I know what to do now.
It was ridiculous. It was a fucking wild squirrel.
That is fucking crazy. And it wasn't tame; it just ran the fuck around you, huh?
Yeah, it stopped on my head when there was nowhere else to go.
Wow.
And then I remember that club owner called me in his office, and he goes, "Hey, look at this," and he just pulled down a girl's dress, and I looked in her face, and her face was, "I hate this, but I like cocaine and money."
Wow.
And then I looked at her and I was like, and I just walked out of the room. I felt, what am I supposed to fucking do?
Yeah.
But I used to be on television.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I understand. And I gained a lot of weight.
Well, you know, I mean.
And they don't hire white guys like they used to.
No.
Not for guest roles.
Yeah. You gotta.
They hire white guys to be leads. And a lot of the guest roles now go to minorities. Good for them.
Wow. So you see a lot of the roles changing, a lot of direction changing. Do you see?
Yeah. The whole thing with Jada Pinkett Smith and all the cops murdering those innocent black guys, some of them, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just that things have changed I think in entertainment as a direct result from it, you know. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I would like some money, but I understand.
Well, I understand. You know, the necessity to make a fucking living is one thing, bro. And
it's been rough. Well, the thing is, I now have to. Some years are very good acting. I think last year I did a Snapple commercial where I was a fucking mango.
I saw that.
I did it Shameless. I did I'm Dying Up Here. I did Superior Donuts with Judd Hirsch.
Oh wow.
And I did a couple other Alone Together with Esther and so it's just I worked.
Yeah.
And then I think this year is a lot of road.
Yeah, are you booking these deals yourself? Are you? Do you have?
No, I've had the same manager for 25 years.
Okay.
And here's interesting for those of you who are thinking about comedy or acting as a career, decide which career you want to ahead of time, because the manager you choose is where you go.
Okay.
So, for example, if I chose a theatrical manager, he said to me, "I'm not big on comedy. I'll help you out with some talk shows, because really I'm looking for acting and to get you deals, development deals." This is in 2001 when they handed out those things.
Right.
And I was like, "Yes, that's what I want to do." I said, "I'll do comedy as fun, on the side." And so that's it. And so I went that way. But that's because they didn't choose a comedy manager.
Right.
Is the reason that many people know me as a comedian.
Huh.
So a lot of times when you see a comedian on Netflix, they had a comedic manager who had a connection. So a lot of that went that way.
So do you think about changing management after this time?
In 25 years, I have a very good friend. I mean, the guy came to my grandmother's funeral, and he's my friend.
So now,
when things were bad, when things were bad with him, I stayed by him. When things were bad with me, he stayed by me. And I'm 295 pounds. I lost 35 pounds.
Good
so I'm 290. I'm 300. And he still stays by me, and there's a lot less roles for fat guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good that he stood up for you, bro.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Can you add another manager to that? Like, can you add a comedy
No, you
manager?
can't have other managers.
No.
But he also helped me get the Comedy Central special.
Okay.
He helped me get. I think I can't remember. But he's done a few other comedy things. And that the first Conan, the late night with Conan O'Brien.
Uh-huh.
Now that's a depressing story. You like depressing stories?
I put it on your intro reel of the Conan picture, so that wasn't a good one.
No, that's the second one.
Okay, the first one.
No, it wasn't bad or good. This is a fucked up story. So it's my first Conan, and Conan's the only show I wanted to do. I never cared about the Tonight Show. You know, I was like, I want to do Conan because the late night with Conan O'Brien was fantastically funny.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that show.
Yeah.
So then a comedy club owner recommended me to the people there, and then they're like, oh yeah, they already knew my act. Yeah, sure. So I get there, and the first thing they're supposed to do is show you. I almost threw up there. You saw that. The first thing they do is they show you the microphone. You walk in, show you where the red X is, and you stand there and go, that's where you're going to stand. And then the microphone guy does a sound check. And usually there I say, hey, I'm going to make a loud noise, but don't lower me. I'm going to get quiet again. So I always say that. So then, so I'm waiting for that to happen, and I hear the band playing. And on the TV set in the green room, the show starts.
Oh, shit.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And then Conan walks out, and he's crying.
Like crying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, God, I can't remember his name because the fucking MS. Oh, man, a guy died. I can't remember his name. Shit. He was Conan's best friend. He was a political analyst. He was Irish from Boston, so they were very close.
Okay.
And he passed away from a heart attack an hour before the show started.
Oh, my God. So this is before your first coming on. Conan's in tears.
Yeah.
The band's playing.
Yeah, and the crowd is like, oh, what night did we come on?
Wow.
And so they start playing clips of the guy. And I like the guy. I was a big fan of his. You know, as far as I find politics boring, but I always liked him. Mm-hmm. He was just funny. So anyway, so his friend dies. And meanwhile, that guy's son is Conan's assistant. Like the whole staff was very upset, including the band. So I'm watching guest after guest just
wow.
Michael Stratham, D.L. Hewley. D.L. Hewley had his hat over his eyes, you know what I mean? And I'm like, they didn't even show me the fucking microphone.
Wow.
So they called me up there, and nobody laughed, I would say, for the first 2 minutes.
Wow.
But then they started laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fucking thank God.
So you turned around a funeral.
Yeah, and then the best part is at the very end, he calls me over, and I sit next to him. And he goes, that was great. I go, thank you. And the band starts playing, and then he looks at me and D.L. Hewley, he goes, you know, you think 40 is a good age? And I'm like, yeah. Think he's doing a joke. And then your friend dies, and I go, oh. Yeah. Yeah. So I had to switch and be like, yeah, I know. Yeah. So then, I was like, yeah, I'll be 40 in a couple of years. And D.L. Hewley goes, yeah, I'm there now. And the band's like,
oh my God.
And we're all talking about how we're going to die.
Yeah.
So you see the people, like, what they're talking about during the band? We're talking about death.
Wow.
I was like, like, dude was like, yeah, I'm 40 now. I'll be dead. Like, it was all sad.
Jesus Christ.
That was my first Conan. So when I did it a second time, when he came over and said hi to me, I was like, we met years ago. And I told him the story, and he goes, my God, that was you.
Wow.
It was, my God. Sorry.
You're fine, man.
Anyway, sorry about that. It was gross. But that's a funny story. I always think it's a funny story.
Yeah, bro. That
was gross. Just came out of my mouth.
That's all right. We got we're on the wide shot. You're fine.
You saw that? Too.
No. It was not up close. At least there was no zoom in.
There was a little silver in there.
No, that's good, brother. We had brunch earlier before we had all sorts of acidic foods and everything else.
Yeah, there might have been some cheese in there.
Forgive us where we are ingesting, digesting, but yes, we are still talking too. But
hi.
I appreciate Brian pushing through and being a trooper and being here.
Now, is this okay? Is this what you wanted?
This is what I wanted, man. I wanted to talk to you, brother. I haven't got to actually sit down and talk to you.
Well, I was wondering if you wanted something funny, or if when you told me the show was about.
It's about everything, brother.
You told me downstairs it was about something specific.
Well, what I wanted this show to be about was Bringing Home Hollywood was a continuation of that documentary, and that's when we actually talked to people about what Los Angeles was like, how it was when you went out there, and what the industry has done now and what it's become.
And that's so okay. So I was with them.
You were right on where we're at, brother.
Okay.
And not only that, but now you are also struggling just a little bit harder now. You're on the road doing these things, being a comic, but you're also struggling with MS, and that's been a really tough thing for you.
Well, I have it's just expensive.
Yeah.
Because what happened was I was on stage in Las Vegas, and I felt a very sharp pain here.
Okay.
Like, and I repeated the same sentence 3 times. So I knew something had happened.
Yeah.
And then, because it's hot in there, because Rich Little is the show before me, and he's 97 years old, he likes the air conditioning off.
Right.
Because air conditioning will kill him. So when I go on stage, after, it's pouring with sweat.
Yeah.
So sweat was going in my left eye. So I wiped my left eye while I was talking, and the entire audience was gray. Like when you get out of a shower, how the mirror's fogged up. So the entire audience was fogged up. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I had to keep performing for another 30 minutes. So then afterwards, I went to the room, and I was panicking. You know, I didn't know what the fuck it was. So, you know, it turns out I was misdiagnosed for 6 months. Now, when something happens to your eye called optic neuritis, you have 6 months to save it.
Okay.
It will fix itself. Like, in other words, I don't see clowns anymore. I see you.
Okay.
But it's the reading a phone is a little difficult with the right eye.
Okay.
A little difficult. So what happened was I could have fixed it entirely, but I was misdiagnosed. So they didn't know what it was. And then when they didn't know what it was too late.
Wow.
So, but my eye cleared up. I can see 20/20. Everything's fine. But because it attacked my eye, my neurologist said, we need to get you on the best medicine. Because you're going to have another attack. And she found lesions in my brain, like 5 of them. And she said, we want to get you on this medicine right away. And I said, why? Is it because I lost my eye? I almost lost my eye. She goes, yeah. Wow. She's like, if it was another part of you, I would let it go. But she's like, I want you on this medicine. So I've been on this medicine. I get the medicine for free. It's from a company called Biogen. They do something called a medicine called Tysabri. It's amazing. But you can die. We all eventually get antibodies in our head called the JC antibodies. Okay. I don't know what they are, but it does sound like a lawyer. Like, I'm JC antibody. If you get into an accident with an Uber, look up JC antibody. Right. So if you get those while you're on Tysabri, you will die in 3 days. Wow. Yeah. So now I have to get tested all the time. So all the blood tests.
So this is something we develop naturally. Can't possibly kill you within 3 days.
No, JC antibodies will not kill you. But combined with Tysabri, it will. Wow. But Tysabri is what saved me. Is the reason I can still work. Okay. The eye needed help, so I posted it on Facebook because it had taken everything I had. And so I needed help, so I announced it. And now I wish I hadn't. Really? Because I think people, when they hear MS, they think of MS from 10 years ago before the medicine existed. It's like I can still walk. And luckily, I can still talk clearly. Right. You know, unless until I blow my nose. but I can still see. And you know, but it's I wish I hadn't posted it. You know, because it's like it comes up too often, and I want people to know that I can work. Yeah. I can work just as well as I used to.
You think that you're getting less work because of it?
Maybe.
It might be a liability
maybe.
now?
And also maybe because the world's changed. Also maybe because I'm older and there's a lot less parts for people like me.
You know, there's parts for everybody at every age.
There's parts, but is there parts?
Yeah.
But we're talking like, that's the thing is that when people get frustrated at me at comedy clubs, I want the show to be an A+.
Yeah, I got you.
And some comedy clubs are okay with a B-.
Right.
They don't care. It's all about how many onion rings do they sell. Right. So they don't give a shit. Right. So when a guy like me goes to their club who wants the show to be as best possible, it's not like I'm going, I want this light, I want that light. It's not like that at all. When I get there and they hired a guy who looks like me to be my opener, I go, that's not a great move. Yeah. Oh, no, we're going to put 5 guest spots on before you. I'm like, no,
that's
you're
not a great move either. Yeah.
I went to fucking a city and they had a banjo guy opening for me, and I was like, so I said to the owner, I was like, you know, you're not supposed to have musical openers for thank you for agreeing for a non-musical headliner. And the waitress overheard it, told the comic. The comic after the show was yelling and screaming at me in front of everybody, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know what you heard. It's not what I said. Yeah. And I was like, and he goes, why are you upset? I'm like, I'm not upset.
You're here. It's just the fact they booked it both the same night.
And all I was saying was we don't fit together. Right. That it doesn't make any sense. And he was like, well, I hope I get to be a headliner and be as sad as man.
Oh, my God.
And then I told Mark Maron the story. And Maron goes, did you tell him you're still a banjo comic? And Mark has a way of instantly solving the problem in 5 seconds. Yeah. Like I was dating a crazy girl. Really crazy. I'm not saying women are crazy. I'm not fucking saying that.
I am, but yeah.
So, and I told Mark I was like, now she's hanging out with a guy who's really crazy. Wow. Like he's
So they're both crazy together.
And I was like, I'm a little worried, but he's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I said to Mark, I'm a little worried about her. And Mark goes, sometimes crazy needs crazy.
Yeah.
But he's really good at those one sentence fixes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you just told him he's still a banjo comic.
Yeah. I really like Mark, man.
Me too.
He's got
great.
such just a down to earth, just a way.
He's done a lot for me.
Yeah.
Half the reason I had a Comedy Central special was because he mentioned me when they asked him who do you think should have a special. And he goes, Brian Scolaro.
Wow.
Like it's just he's had me on WTF twice.
Nice.
He's a really really great guy.
That's awesome, man.
And he's somebody I always say when people say people can't change.
Yeah.
He's proof you can.
Yeah.
Because he is night and day from the person I met in since 1994.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was great then too, but he's like, I don't know, he's somebody like the more famous he got, the better he got.
Yeah.
As a person. Daniel Tosh was like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Tosh came on the scene and we were like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
He was really stuck up. But then when he became famous, he became the real him.
Yeah.
I think they both got the rewards that they deserved,
yeah.
and they were more relaxed. Some guys become famous, and they become worse.
I never met Mark, but I've met Daniel a couple times.
Daniel's
I
a
met him
great guy. He's funny. The Hollywood Improv. Yeah.
And actually, I met him right after Ramsey's thing one night.
Yeah,
he was there that night.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah.
I forgot about. I actually thought about that recently.
Yeah, man. Fucking miss Ramsey. He was a really good guy.
No,
He's the reason that we are here where we're at today is because of him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I always liked Ramsey. It was sad.
Yeah. He's a good guy, man. A real comic. You know, somebody who told real.
Well, I remember when I went up and said something at his memorial, and I didn't want to because as a fat guy, I didn't want to open up, and I got jokes because I went up.
Yeah.
Big Jay Ogerson of all people. I was like, "You're fat too, man," but I love Jay. Yeah. So anyway, so he, I said, I was like, Ramsey never did the same material twice, and although that was a really bad method of being a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
But he was in a sense the most real comic of all of us. And and that's something I realized in retrospect after he passed.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's what I really loved about him, dude. He wasn't just real on stage; he was real all the fucking time.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yeah, I told him I want to be a comic, and he said, "Wait, tell me some jokes." He sat there and looked at me with a fucking dead face and did not. I mean, he put me in the fucking coldest room. All right, I won't do that. Yeah. You're right, man. I'll leave it up to you guys. Well, yeah,
it's the worst job in the world.
Yeah, he puts it straight, and we did a movie with him called it's now called Flesh Blanket, but it was called the Lenny Bruce Experiment at the time.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I did what my job was to film all the behind the scenes documentary style for the film, and it ended up becoming actually a major part of the film is because I was there when he woke up. I was the first guy in the house, and he woke up in that character, and he was just his method of being that psychopathic killer that whole day, that transformation was just so fucking just amazing. And wow. He woke up in character and stayed in till that thing was fucking done. And it was Ramsey because Ramsey was so real, but he put that realness to that fucking that person and just made it what it was. Yeah. I haven't seen the movie Flesh Bucket because it might be a little bit too close for me.
Right.
But during that film, we went from his house in Los Angeles to a bar in Barstow, and we all took separate vehicles, and there was a party bus, and they were all filming the party bus. So my job was to get ahead of everybody and film when they showed up. Right. And I drove from Los Angeles to Barstow, and during that time, the tread came off my tire of my car, and I ended up going back and forth on the highway and ended up flipping my car several times down the highway.
The story got good.
So I take the camera that I'm supposed to be filming them out and film the car wreck. Excuse me, the car wreck on the side of the highway. The cops come up, everything. Well, here comes the party bus. Everybody for the film crew. So it became part of the movie too. And but Ramsey and Brian Swinehart ended up giving me B Swine's old car, the smashed in Buick. Right. That's why I ended up leaving Hollywood and was B Swine's old ride. But yeah, those guys made sure that I had at least enough to get home on.
That's nice.
Yeah.
No, I love B Swine.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I can't believe I just called him B Swine. I love Brian.
Yeah, I love Brian too. Yeah. But I think he wants you to call him B Swine now. I think that's who he is now.
I won't do that.
You just did.
No, but, I remember I met a rapper.
Yeah.
And the rapper was like, "My name's King. Call me King." And I go, I'm not calling you king.
Yeah.
He was like, why not? I was like, this girl's around. I was like, it's going to make me seem subservient. And he goes, well, that's my name. I go, well, you got to call me by my rap name, Mr. Poopy Pants. So like, yo, Mr. Poopy Pants. Like, why am I saying that? Why ain't calling you fucking king?
That's funny.
I think it is too.
Yeah, put it both ways. I did Big Money Rustlers.
Big Money Rustlers.
With Insane Clown Posse.
Mom, I want you to meet my husband. My fiance, Big Money Rustlers.
Yeah, well, it was Insane Clown Posse, and Sugar was people were up calling him fucking Sugar, and he's like, call me Jay. Don't be fucking calling me. Yeah.
I like that guy now.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. He actually he had a seizure during the filming of that while we were there.
Great.
That was a fucking intense moment. But
this is a really depressing podcast.
Well, I'm getting to the CBD. He ended up taking CBD treatments there and did the rest of the film.
Right.
And I thought it was an interesting comeback because I ended up being in the CBD industry later. But seeing them do it on set there was a
cool.
Interesting little So they knew about that shit way back then. But yeah, man. So not to get so depressing.
I was just joking. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's
just joking.
Hollywood doesn't come with very many non-depressing stories. I found though.
No, but there are really good ones.
Yeah. If you leave out the depressing parts, they can be really good.
Yeah, but it's important to listen. It's like the one thing that keeps me going is that I have a good career. I mean, I'm still doing TV and.
Yeah, brother.
How many people have been on Mad Men and Shameless,
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's not like, but the memory of what happened, Vicki Lewis from News Radio, and she was on Three Sisters with me.
Okay.
And in Chicago, and she always said, she's like, I think it's really cruel to have money than not.
Yeah.
That's even more cruel than just never having money.
Yeah.
It's so it's like, I remember just like taking a girl up the coast, just going up the coast. Dave Chappelle, when Dave Chappelle and I knew each other, he never knew my name, but he knows me.
Right.
So we were sitting at the Cellar years ago, and he goes, so where are you now? And I was like, I'm in L.A. And he goes, do you like it? I go, no, not really. I like working as an actor. He goes, go up the coast. He's like, go up the coast. And he was fucking right. The day I went up the coast, it changed everything. Rolling green hills up to blue water. It's a Mediterranean climate. There's only 4 in the world. So as I'm driving, there's zebras on the side of the road. And I said to my girlfriend, I was like, there's fucking zebras. Then we looked to our left, and there's giant elephant seals.
What?
And I was like, where the fuck are we? The zebras were from Hearst Castle. Randolph Hearst.
Yeah.
So his castle still there.
Wow.
And he had zoo animals. And the elephant seals were just breeding. It was just like, it was a magical place. And it really changed my opinion of L.A.
So what area was this in? This is north of Malibu?
It's Cambria was the town. You go past Paso Robles, and then there's Cambria and there's Big Sur.
Okay.
It was really, but it was Cambria in particular that I fell in love with in the area right after where the Hearst Castle is.
Yeah.
Just was beautiful.
Yeah.
So that changed. And I got to go to a Simpsons table read.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matt Groening and I met at the party. I'm really good at finding the compliment that will get the celebrity talking.
That's cool.
Because a lot of people would see Roy Scheider and go, I love Jaws.
Right.
Do that.
Yeah.
When I met J.K. Simmons, I was like, you know what I liked? Lady Killers. He goes, I worked my ass off in that movie.
Wow.
When I worked with Matthew Perry, I said, I was like, you know what I always liked? He goes, what? I go, Almost Heroes. And he goes, I fucking love that movie. I really committed. I go,
Almost Heroes is my fucking favorite movie.
Yeah.
Chris Farley, I mean, dude.
And so I said to him, I almost brought my DVD for you to sign. And he goes, that would have been the first DVD I signed to that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always good at finding the compliment that gets people talking.
Yeah.
So when I met Matt Groening, I was like, listen, my family is Italian New Yorkers, and we argue. It's bad. I was like, I've called my mother a fucking bitch to her face several times. And I said the one thing that we all could do together or talk about was The Simpsons. I was like, so you not only did something really funny, you did, I think you did my family a great service. And so that he really liked. Yeah. And he goes, well, what are you here? I was like, I'm here. I'm on a show.
Why are you here?
Yeah, because he didn't know me. And I was like, I'm on the show called Stacked. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, we should do a crossover episode. I go, don't tease me.
They did do that, yeah.
Well, they nailed the problem with the show in 2 seconds.
Wow.
They did Coming Up, Carmen Electra, in a new show about boobs, where she teaches idiot high school children. And Homer goes, I thought it was about her boobs. So that was the whole reason Stacked failed, is that people who wanted to see tits didn't see it, and the people who could have used real jokes didn't know because it was called tits.
Yeah.
you know. But it was anyway. But I got to go to the table. So Matt Groening, I get to work the next day, and there's a DVD from Matt Groening with a note saying, "Nice to meet you." So I send him all the Marx Brothers movies, and the next thing I know, a golf cart shows up.
You sent him all the Marx Brothers
I
movies?
sent him all the Marx Brothers
Nice.
movies.
Nice
He
move.
seemed like the type that would like Marx Brothers.
Yeah.
He must have been like, "What the fuck is this? This kid spent $300 on it."
Yeah.
But I was like, I really enjoy meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
So then a golf cart pulled up, and they said, "What's your opinion of Family Guy?" And I go, "It's okay." I was like, I think it's good. It's not. I still like The Simpsons better. And they go, "Get in."
That's a test.
It was The Simpsons, and they brought me to a table read, and I was sitting behind Hank Azaria.
Wow.
And I guess the only one not there is Harry Shearer. I think he does his stuff in New Orleans. New Orleans. Almost done. So, so I got to sit behind Hank Azaria, and what was great about it is that whenever a line failed, they would ad-lib within the character. So when he was doing Lou, the cop, he was like, "Oh, I thought that was funny." Like, it was just...
Nice. So he stays in the character, yeah.
And there was one joke where Homer was on a roller coaster apologizing to Marge. That's all it said. He's riding a roller coaster, and underneath is his line. So Dan Castanella changed it to, "Oh, Marge, I'm very sorry." And when he finished, everyone was like, God damn, because he thought of it on his own.
Right.
You know, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the best. So there's great moments too.
Yeah.
You know, they're just and I, get to meet and work with some of the best people in the world, and the good thing is that you did it. It's like know your script was optioned.
Yeah.
You're not some failed writer who opened up a CD. Like your script was optioned.
I'm not some failed writer to open
And
up
and I know that I was a regular on 2 network sitcoms and 3 pilots. And so it's like I know.
Yeah.
So it's that was no fault of our own.
Yeah.
And so there's great moments, and just the fact that you're married, have a nice family, that's great.
Well,
I go home to my fucking pajama bottoms.
Hey man, everybody has their own life because we Bill Burr would say, this is the hell that I live in. Waking up, having to make sure that I have 4 people to support, making sure that that all these lives depend on me every day.
Right. Yeah.
And that it's a fucking pressure to.
I didn't hear him say that. It was nice. Yeah, he was always been great.
Yeah, I mean I think he puts it a little bit more bluntly that the 20-year-old has to just take care of himself. Doesn't have as much to worry about as the fucking idiot who got married at 20. Yeah. But I'm the fucking idiot who got married at 20. I chose to have a family, and it was a struggle going out to L.A. That my wife and kids stayed behind while I went out there by myself, and I lived in my car for a while and did everything we could to get them out there, but. Even then, we lived on the floor and didn't have furniture. We didn't really have anything until we actually took what we learned in the entertainment industry and applied it to the cannabis industry. And we took that entertainment industry knowledge and the writing knowledge, and we created a cannabis college. And we took what we knew about entertainment and made this cannabis college entertaining, and we got people that wanted to be in the medical marijuana industry and dispensaries that wanted people in the medical marijuana industry to both use us, and it worked out. Right. And that's just where we're at today. I would love to still be writing and making movies, but I don't fucking have time for it now. I do this now.
Nobody would even read it anyway.
That's the thing.
And it's like I have 10 screenplays. One got me 6 meetings. Yeah. And then write a strike, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but they're all still sitting there.
Yeah, no, I think mine are on a hard drive somewhere, and fucking the email. I don't even know where they're at anymore. You got hard copies?
I have hard copies, and I made sure I transferred it and put it in my drawer. And it'll stick. But some of them, like, I cannot play those parts anymore because I wrote them all when I was in my early 30s, late 20s. Yeah. Now I'm 45 with the body of a 59-year-old. So it's but they're still there.
Yeah,
and I have ideas now for movies, and I go, am I really going to write that? Who's going to read it?
Who's going to read it? Yeah, that's my point. Yeah,
but there's one I actually started.
Oh, really?
And this took I haven't written a script in 10 years. Wow. And I was like, someone's going to write this. I got to beat them to it. Nice. Yeah, but I'm afraid to say it because I think your fans will take it.
I'll take it. No, I wouldn't.
You can write it, but we got
to split it now. Huh?
It's a really clever idea.
That's cool, man. It's good. I always get those fucking just those aha moments. That'd be such a good movie, and then you start coming with characters, and then and then
nobody's gonna fucking read it.
Yeah. I create a character, and then what? I put all that energy into somebody and something, and then what?
And it's confusing, like when people are like, well, look at the Coen Brothers. Coen Brothers started when there was 20 films being sent to film festivals. Yeah. And they started on their own. They went to school. They had money, but that's not really the way it happens here and there. No. But when people are like, oh, you'll make it off of YouTube. I'm like, Andy Samberg made it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
And like maybe 5 other people.
Yeah.
For a year of their
Yeah.
life, were
Yeah.
able to play clubs. I was
Yeah.
like, really? Who's making it off of YouTube?
No, yeah. You got to be somebody already to.
Yeah, so now
yeah.
the rules have changed, and Joey Diaz said to me recently, and he's right. He goes, the only acting you get now is through friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because now everybody is in trouble.
Yeah.
So who are they going to hire?
Yeah.
They're going to hire their friends because they know their friends are in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the fucking writer's strike.
Exactly. Yeah.
I worked, remember the movie Disorganized Crime?
No, I don't.
High Society. At least you told the truth this time. Disorganized Crime.
Don't fucking lie to me.
It's a movie with Corbin Burnson and Fred Gwynn and the father from Boy Meets World.
Okay.
William Russ. That guy used to be on the board for SAG.
Okay.
And when I did Girl Meets World,
Uh-huh.
which we're not going to talk about,
We're not gonna talk about.
William Russ was there as a coach for the kids.
Uh-huh.
And I knew who he was.
Okay.
And I remember, I was like, yeah, you were in your red underwear in Disorganized Crime getting eaten by bees. He goes, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I liked him.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, yeah, when we merged SAG and AFTRA, we all knew it was going to be, we all spoke and said, these kids won't be able to make a living.
Yeah.
We all fought for you, and we got overpowered because people were excited about the merger. They were excited about paying one fee as opposed to two.
Yeah.
And really what happened was it took away our royalties, it lowered our pay.
Yeah.
It raised our health insurance. Now you have to make $15,000 a year as an actor to earn health insurance. So as you know from watching people on TV, 1 year you see a guy 8 times, and you don't see him again for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just the way it happens.
And residuals aren't anything.
So the reasons are horrible. They're horrible.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on that again.
Because that's where Hollywood brings you. There's an up moment, and then there's mostly down moments.
Simpsons was great.
Yeah, Simpsons was great, but the reality of it is you have to be an actor, you have to be working, and you have to make $15,000 just to get your health insurance.
Yeah.
Stated.
And that's important now because I got the MS.
And health insurance, I mean, doesn't even cover everything. Like no,
it doesn't cover everything.
But even to get there, you have to at least be working, and that's a tough thing. We got to make sure these Hollywood actors have careers, and there's so many new people coming out, sure. But the people who have done stuff, the people who have actually worked, have actually proven, there's got to be something that we can look at and say, hey, we don't have to have this guy audition. He's already done.
What's happened?
This work.
It's happened. I've had last year was a good year. I got Alone Together. Esther wrote a part for me. Superior Donuts. They called me and just gave it to me.
Nice. So it's starting to happen that way again.
No, it depends on. It's when people on the show
know
me.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll just get something.
Okay.
And it doesn't it does not always work that way.
Right.
And I was getting more work through my people who knew me than my own agents.
Wow.
So I think like last year, Dying Up Here they might have gotten for me, and Shameless they got for me, but all the other stuff I got myself. So it was just like, or people remembered me, and that feels nice because I hate auditioning. I used to be great at it. I used to go into a zone.
Yeah.
So I remember when I flew out when I was in New York. They flew me out to L.A. to test for the pilot with Tiffany Thiessen. And it was me, it was Nick Swartzen, it was a couple other guys that you would recognize, and I went into the hallway, and I just stared at the wall, and I just ran it, and 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 ran it, until there was no doubt in my mind that they weren't going to choose me. There was no doubt in mind that this part was mine. Yep. I mean, literally, like a crazy woman. You've met crazy, like really crazy woman. You're like, this woman's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I was like at that moment. I was like, this is mine.
You're going to take it.
And it's like, I'm just going to go in there. I already had the job. That's how I saw it. That I'm naturally funnier than these other people. And I went in there, and I got it.
Nice.
Now, at 45, not so much.
Not running it.
But I also... because they know me now, and there's no shock factor, and so it's like also what I've noticed is that I've had a lot. Like sometimes I went in there, it was fantastic, and nothing happened. I got a standing ovation for one of those. I don't know. It was one of those movies. I can't remember the name. It was one with Allison Hannigan where she's heavy. You remember the movie I'm talking about, the comedy? So anyway, I read for The Weirdo, and I got a standing ovation in the room from the producers.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way in hell I didn't get this.
Right.
But then they decided to give it to Judah Freelander because he looks crazy.
Wow.
And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And but Bryan Cranston is that great clip of Bryan Cranston, which kind of changed it for me. When I was like, why aren't I booking like I used to? But he said, there's a million factors in why they choose who they choose.
Yep.
So all you can do is go in there and do the writer justice.
Yeah.
And do what is the scene about, and show whether the writer. And that's originally how I started with that.
Yeah.
And that acting style. And so now it just became that again. All I go in, and I was like, oh, this is how the scene would go if I was watching it on TV.
Yep.
And here you go.
Nice.
I don't even throw in the overconfident ad-libs anymore. Like, I used to get parts. I used to walk into a room and go, you didn't say there'd be stairs. And they would laugh.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wasn't even fat, but they would laugh.
Yeah.
And I had them from the start.
Yeah.
So I always joked around a little bit. Now I just walk in and I go, thank you for having me. And I do the part, and I leave.
So do you think that has something to do with it too?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
you're a little jaded to the industry now, a little bit more?
It's not so jaded. It's just like I'm just doing the justice. But I was at first being jaded. Listen, I started because I wanted to act.
Yeah.
And then I continued because I wanted to kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, why aren't I kicking ass anymore?
Right.
And I'm like, then that's why I liked the Tarantino movie. A lot of people didn't like it, but I loved it. And I'm not going to ruin it.
Yeah.
But what's great about it is the opening scene is out. I was watching the movie. I was like, I'm watching me.
Yeah.
The story's about me. The opening scene, Al Pacino. If you haven't seen the movie, you might not want to listen about. I'll do my best not to spoil anything major. I will not say anything major. So Al Pacino says, you were the heavy. You were beating people up in movies. Now you're a guest role actor and you're being beaten up. That has a psychological effect on the audience.
Yeah.
So I went from getting laughs by myself as third lead on sitcoms to setting up people on Sullivan and Son, setting up Ben Savage on Girl Meets World. You know, now I became, whereas several times I sit there and go, I'm 1,000 times funnier than this guy.
Right.
But now I got to make him look good.
Yeah.
So I set him up, and he gets to laugh. And I realized that that's what I have to do. I have to kill my ego in order to get work.
Okay.
And that sucks.
Are you able to do that?
Yeah, it's like, but I feel like I'm selling out as I do it.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I can understand that.
If somebody said to Beethoven, not that I'm saying I'm Beethoven, guys, I'm not saying that. But if somebody said to Beethoven, you got to write commercial jingles now.
Yeah.
And he would do it, and then hopefully do his own projects. And that's what keeps me sane is like stand-up comedy. At least I can do my own thing, and I write skits and do it with my friends.
How is the stand-up? I mean, is it good enough to be on the road? Is there enough work out there for a traveling stand-up comedian at your level?
If you're not Matt Fultron, you know Matt Fultron?
I do not.
It's so funny. He's a funny guy. Look him up.
Matt Fultron.
Matt Fultron.
Okay.
He said they're killing the middle class of comedians, and he's fucking right.
Okay.
Because comedy clubs want celebrities to fill the room,
right?
And then they'll pay that guy $10,000,
right?
And he'll fill the room,
right?
Or they want a local to bring his friends, bring his friends to perform, bring his friends in the audience, and he'll work for $200, $400,
right?
What they don't want are the people like me, or the $25 to $100 people,
right?
Because we'll do a good show and the crowd will come back, but they want fucking money then and now. Now we want money now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's some clubs that are great, like Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, will book non-famous people. But because it's like an hour north of Detroit, because it's a good show every week, the audience comes back. They trust Mark.
Nice, yeah.
Those clubs are great. And like Acme in Minneapolis and Stress Factory, there's some good clubs out there, Laugh Factory in Vegas, where they just have good acts all over and over again.
That's cool.
So it's, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying.
Well, just finding work as a road comic.
But the point is that now they hire us less, or they pay us less, so it becomes harder.
I got you.
Especially if you have kids or you have a mortgage, and so it just it's a little harder to live on now.
So, in the industry as a whole, you're seeing just a tightening. If you're not already famous, it's gonna be a tighter struggle. Would you say, or do you think somebody coming into this industry has a shot as a stand-up comic or as an actor?
Right now, it's oversaturated, but yet it's hot, so you will get some work, but will you get enough work? And I always say it takes 5 years just to be semi-funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You can see somebody the difference between somebody who's been performing 4 years and somebody's performing 5 years. It's astronomical.
Wow. Okay. So that 5th year is really what it takes. Be on stage.
If you don't quit after 5 years, you're stuck.
You're talking nightly, doing it 5 years. Weekly.
In New York, I would perform in the beginning. I would make sure I was in the city 4 nights a week.
4 nights a week.
Performing multiple spots.
Yeah.
And now in LA, you're lucky to even get up twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's different everywhere. And like in these small towns, like there's like 5 or 6 comics, and they have their little community. And
Yeah.
and I go there, and they always ask me, "What should I do?" And I go, "Get the fuck out of Peoria. Go to fucking New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
New York's where to go to become a comic. LA's where to go to become an actor, writer, producer, host.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of people go wrong. But New York is where you go to be a comic.
Definitely go to New York for a comic. Okay.
That's the place that makes you a comic.
If you're going out to New York to be an actor, it's probably not going to happen either.
No, you'll still get some work, but can you make a living on it?
Yeah.
You know?
So LA's got constant work, you think, more?
I always say it's the difference between a cigarette and a cigarette pack.
Okay.
You can smoke a cigarette in New York.
Yeah.
You can fucking smoke a whole pack in LA.
Okay.
There's more auditions, although right now things are a little tight audition-wise for me. I don't know why. I think it's just the year. It's things should be picking up in September and October.
Yeah.
I'm also been on the road, and my manager doesn't look for work for me when I'm on the road.
Oh no.
But it's okay because I gotta make the living. If I cancel a fucking club, I'm not famous.
Yeah.
So I don't go by the same rules that these other guys do.
Yeah.
Like Doug Stanhope can cancel,
right,
and he'll come back.
Yeah.
I cancel. They're not gonna have me back.
Yeah. Have you talked to Doug ever? Are you...
I've met him through Mark Maron, but I just kind of left him alone.
I really like Doug.
He was having a private conversation with Mark, so I just kind of listened to it instead of talking.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug. Talk about a real comic. I love
motherfucker. I love this Louis C.K. episode where he was killed.
Oh yeah, where he was going to kill himself. Yeah, yeah.
And he talked Louis out of talking him out of it.
Yeah.
I did that. It was nice to see him act. He was good.
Yeah, no, that's what coming from the Man Show. That's where I kind of got introduced to him.
That's right. I forgot I did that.
Yeah, yeah, and hearing the stuff he would say on there, it's really what got me into him as a comic, and man, following him as a stage comic.
Very entertaining.
Dude, yeah, that dude.
I was in Denmark, and all they could do was talk about Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
They loved him.
Yeah,
he was very funny. They loved him. That's all they wanted to talk about. They were mad I wasn't him.
That's funny.
Yeah. And that's how they are in England with Bill Hicks. They want to talk about Bill Hicks.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to talk. Do you like Bill Hicks? Well, just because Bill Hicks came here doesn't mean he didn't play in New York. America.
Yeah,
we liked him.
We know Bill.
Asshole.
Fucking Bill. Man, I love, man. That's one that just went too soon. Obviously, everybody says that.
The world's horrible.
Yeah.
There is on the comic strip, there is one part of the wall in New York where there's like 6 pictures, and they all just happen to be people that died.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, some of them were really good, and they died really early.
Yeah.
Think how funny Dennis Wolfberg was. Remember Dennis Wolfberg?
No.
You don't.
I don't.
He had a pop eye. He was a Dangerfield guy. He was a Dangerfield pick.
Okay.
He had curly red hair. He goes. A lot of people. You gotta have it. When it comes to it, the woman wants you to have it. I don't know what it is, but apparently I have the antidote of it. And he would just stress all of his words, and he was like pure pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
It was back when comedians didn't just stand still and tell jokes.
Right. Yeah.
You had like Kevin Meaney. You had somebody really acting things out and he just had this whole character. He goes, I have the antidote of it.
That's awesome.
I think I've seen,
He
was a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And he was great.
Huh.
And he died way too soon.
Yeah. I think he did even at the Improv, I think it's what I saw.
Yeah. Jeff Schimmel.
Not
Jeff. Robert Schimmel. I know his brother, Jeff. Robert Schimmel.
I don't know.
Robert Schimmel died of he actually was dying of cancer, survived it, and got into a car accident out here.
Fuck.
And died. And he was brilliant. And he was really edgy. I remember one of his jokes was, how does a blind guy know when he's done wiping his ass? Honey, would you come here and proofread something for me? He had a lot of really edgy, dirty jokes.
That's funny. But
and he was gone. He died early, too.
You can do that at the early show, too, though. The edgy, dirty like that.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, Robert Schimmel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, Mitch Hedberg was the one I think of that went early. Yeah, he was really.
Sometimes in the middle of the night, I think of something funny, and I have to write it down on a piece of paper. But sometimes it depends really far away. I got to convince myself that what I thought of wasn't that funny. I love
his delivery is just fucking.
I love great bits.
Yeah,
a great bit will stay with me forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the Moose bit?
No.
From Woody Allen?
No.
You do yourself a favor and type in one day Woody Allen Moose bit.
All right.
And it is probably one of the best stand-up comedy bits of all time. And comedians all know it. It's a really strong, silly, stupid bit. But it's well constructed. I love constructed bits. So I love Carlin.
Yeah,
I saw what Pryor did. It was awesome. But I love what Carlin did because he had structure and he had a structure
that went for 20 minutes. Voices. Yeah. I mean, you think the structure was over, but it's actually part of the. Yeah.
I remember when there's a guy now at the Comedy Store doing airplane jokes, and we all look at each other backstage like, does he not know that Carlin killed this?
Wow.
When Carlin did with that Jersey, doing it again, I think he does 20 minutes on airplanes. 20 minutes. Yeah. And how could anybody who knows comedy
do an airplane joke
now? Yeah. We'll do an airplane joke like I write fart jokes, but I make sure they are original fart jokes.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's still doing things that Carlin did.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we tell him? You don't tell him.
Yeah.
Because I think he knows. He made a choice. But it's like, it's definitely weird.
So do you see the boogers and stuff in the Comedy Store? I mean, they have to know too, right? I mean,
yeah, I think my guess is he just didn't do that in his audition.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? Or maybe the owner feels like there's a little room for that there.
Yeah.
For tourists. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, they're definitely trying to get tourists in. They need a long show.
It's an amazing club. We were talking 3 sold out rooms.
Yeah.
6 sold out shows a night. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really changed. I mean, 5 years ago, you could walk in there, there would be empty seats. Now, it's
changing the booker and changing the manager was a brilliant idea. Those 2 guys, Eric and Adam.
Adam
and Eric.
Yeah.
They single-handedly, which is weird because there's 2 of them, changed that room.
Yeah.
And it's now, it also goes to show that the Sons did a good job. The Shores did a good job at how to run the business.
Yeah.
They didn't make it a haven of sin anymore. Mm-hmm. They were like, no, this is a fucking business, and let's run it like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they did a great job.
Yeah, when I did Bring It to Hollywood, I talked to Polly and his assistant there at the Comedy Store. And I mean, they're there all day working. I mean, it's a real gig.
Yeah,
and they take it like that, and that's really cool.
I'm proud to play it. That and the Comedy Cellar in New York. I'm like those are my 2 favorite comedy clubs that I've ever seen. And comics from Australia and Britain and Canada, they all ask about those 2 rooms.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, these are the
Comedy Cellar and Comedy Store.
They don't ask about the improvs. They know about the improvs, but they don't ask about them.
They're commercial now. I mean, you know, when
that's what I was talking about. I'm so sorry. When we talk about killing the middle class, a lot of these rooms, the improvs, went to 500 seaters. They went from 300 seaters to 500 seaters.
Right.
So now when you do that,
you have to fill it.
Completely cut out.
Yeah.
You completely cut out fucking. I don't want to mention names, but a lot of comics in my league.
Yeah.
You know, like comics that Tom would have at the Stir Crazy, like great comics.
Right.
But they're not going to sell 500 tickets.
No.
Every show.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're on the mailing list to like the Improv and Stand Up Live and stuff, and they're calling us all the time to get us into these shows. And, it's a constant struggle just to even get anybody in.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing is you get these big shows and you get steak dinners and you 2 drink minimums and you start taking away from the comic of it and you're trying to fill the seats and you're trying to and you get somebody who doesn't know this comic or doesn't want to see this comic coming in and they're ordering a steak and talking about whatever shit and who the fuck is this guy? So it takes away from the person who's trying to deliver a show, I think, too, when you get those big clubs.
Yeah, I hate movie theaters that deliver food now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm watching Gravity.
Yeah.
And you really got to put yourself in space.
Yeah.
And the woman's running up, clink, 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 with glasses of force. I'm like, he took me right out of it.
Yeah.
Who goes to fucking eat a fucking meal?
Yeah. I do. We eat dinner at the comedy clubs all the time.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
But as long as we eat during the MC, not eat during the fucking headliner.
We do.
My favorite thing is taking food from people who are eating during me. I'm the headliner. You should have been done by this.
Yeah, that should be cleared up.
So my trick is I go, can you fix my sleeve? And they fix my sleeve, and I just grab stuff off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's funny.
I should probably get going soon.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming out, making the
Thank
time.
you. I hope that was okay.
Yeah,
I feel
dude.
like it was a little negative.
No, dude. I think that's the whole thing. The entertainment industry, when you start entertaining people, the entertainers, they're left with a down at the end of the day. You come off this high, whether it's shooting a show or you come off stage.
I didn't know if we should be joking around or telling stories, but when you
It's
said
kinda
that
natural.
downstairs, I was like, okay.
Yeah, man. The jokes are there, the funny's there, but the truth of the matter is that the entertainment industry is a dark place. And if you're looking to get into it,
It was fun listen, it was really fun.
Yeah.
For about 12 years, but it ended, but not through my fault. But some people are going to coast all the way through because they're not going to have a writer's strike or something bad.
Right.
So you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I would say now's a good time to start. If you want to do anything, it's better to start now than 5 years later.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Then
Take the chance now.
just might as well do it. But it's also realize that you're an asshole because you're taking food out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna
and you're gonna fucking hate them when they audition.
But I'm
you're
just
not gonna be friends.
It's the comedy community is really supportive. The men in particular are very supportive of each other.
Okay.
And even though we're all supportive of everybody, the women. I love hiring younger comics to open for me if they don't do what I do.
That's cool.
I'm tired of fat comics going, can I open for you? I go, no.
No.
I was like,
Taking my
fatter
money.
you're fatter than me, and I do fat jokes. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So I support you. I want you to succeed.
Yeah.
But
Go do your own show.
No. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But this was fun. It was nice, officially.
But if you're a skinny, mild comic, you definitely go on the road with.
The world. There's a lot of comics, and and so it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Female comics will have it the most difficult for the first 5 years, and then have it much easier after that.
Yeah.
Because there's fewer of them.
Yeah. So if you make it past that 5 year hump, Nikki Glaser, those types.
Every girl I've seen start goes through everybody hitting on them, not knowing if they should be dirty, not knowing what to do, and then the ones that really treat it like a job and sit down with that notepad and work really hard, and like Nikki and Amy and I love Bernadette Pauly, a lot of great comics. Yeah. They work their asses off. Yeah. And it shows. Yeah. And then they make it. Yeah. It's I forgot what I was talking about. I'm really tired.
That's good, brother. I appreciate you coming out. Bottom line is,
I just farted.
Go for it now. The fans on.
Go for it now.
Yeah.
It's
don't give up. Don't take the negativity as a stopping point.
It's going to be really bad.
But there are some down parts. Yeah.
There's and then it doesn't end well. Yeah. My brother said a great point, and this is a good thing to end on. My brother goes, "There's really about 20 people who work more than 2 decades." Yeah. And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You got Nicholson, you got Streep, you got Bruce Willis, you got Robin Williams, and you got Tom Cruise, but really, everybody else works for a decade, disappears, comes back for 5 years, disappears again. Alan Arkin, fucking Jackie O'Haley. Like, these are people who worked for a long time, they disappeared for a long time, then came back a little bit, and now it's like only like 20 people really work consistently. Yeah. So as long as you know that, then everything's gonna go fine.
So get a side job.
Yeah.
Start a podcast.
Although Eddie Murphy on Arsenio famously said, "Don't have a side job."
Well,
but he was a goddamn genius.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy doesn't need a side job, but Arsenio does.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Now did you see before we get off here? Did you see Dave Chappelle's last special? Did you watch it?
Yeah, but I don't comment on people's work. It was good.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the best stand up I've seen on Netflix as far as a good show. And
there's been some great Netflix specials.
Yeah, I really dug Dave Chappelle's show. I just thought it was a really good one.
I like his it was very funny.
Yeah, the whole being woke thing I think was I think he did it right. But anyways, I don't want to get too much into that. I just want to know if you what you saw, if you had an opinion.
I watched it and I liked it.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're saying it's the best, I'm going to say I like the more polished ones of his better. And also, like the Louis C.K. Netflix special was terrific. Yeah. The Mark Maron one was.
Mark was a great one.
Jim Gaffigan one's killing me. The Brian Regan one's killing me. The Ray Romano one. And so it's like when you're saying it's the best, I don't know. It's the best.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
I like
you like a real polished one.
I like his one in D.C. when he did it as a kid. That one was genius. Yeah. Where he does the famous joke about when women they're just revealing doesn't mean they want to get arrested. And you know what, guys? That's true. That's true. But women, you got to understand that that's confusing. That's like me dressing up in a cop uniform. Like, officer, somebody just stole my purse. I go, hey, just because I'm dressed this way doesn't mean, it's like, that's the special of his that I do love the fact that he's now in a position where he's not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So he says the truth.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he's like, I kind of blame the victim. Like when Chris Brown hit his girlfriend, I was like, well, what'd she say?
What'd she say? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good to have that point of view. There was a female comic recently talking about how her husband cheated on her. Now she took all of his money. And I was watching it going, but what's the other side of the story?
Yeah.
I'm like, did he just cheat on you, or were you belittling him for 10 years? Did you not fuck him for 5?
And then took all his money.
Yeah. And so it's like, you wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I have been on the receiving end of some bad relationships, and those women are bad-mouthing me.
Yeah.
I go, are you crazy? You're fucking, you hit me.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, they don't have a stage, huh?
Yeah, so it's like, it's just, I like to hear the other side of the story now.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I like about Dave Chappelle, that he is not in a place where he's going to lose anything. So he, for all of us, is telling his version of the truth. That's
what I thought was the best, was when he comes out and just real, lights a cigarette and just slouched over. He's not fucking wearing a suit. He's just, this is what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. No,
and that's what I thought. Anyways.
I like it, but I happen to grow up liking the George Carlin written, presented bits.
I got you.
But I've always been that way.
Yeah.
But I do like the truth telling as well.
Yeah.
I could never do what Bill Hicks did because it comes off angry for me.
Yeah.
But I like what Carlin did a lot. It was truth, and yet it was polished and written, and he did silly stuff. I like all that.
Yeah.
I miss Dave Chappelle's silly stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. He doesn't have the why. Yeah,
the Sesame Street bits and showing up in the Domino's uniform. Like, I'll take it from here.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't do the silly stuff, which is what I. That's why I like Brian Regan and Jim Gaffigan. It's a release from this horrible life I have. Yeah. So when I watch Jim Gaffigan talking about clam chowder, or Brian Regan talking about Pluto, it's a release. Yeah. And I like that too, and I feel there's a giant market for it, and that's where I want to go. Yeah. I like the release. I'm not saying it's hacky. No. Yeah. But let the truth guys tell the truth. Yeah. And let the silly guys be silly.
I got you. So Dave Chappelle should stay in his lane, you're saying?
No, what I'm saying, it's not my favorite Netflix special.
But the Dave Chappelle show is more of his tone. The characters being...
No, I liked his... I'm just saying he doesn't do silly stuff on stage anymore. Like, he used to have a bit about... He had a Domino's uniform. Yeah. You know the bit. Yeah. So when people ring the doorbell, he goes, I'll take it from here. Yeah. Like, he doesn't do those silly things anymore. Yeah. But I still like what he does. Yeah. You know.
I think he's got another one coming too. So we'll see if he might have another one coming up. So he might be. I think he had 3. He's done 2 now. So I think there's a
one of them was already 2.
Oh, so that was
the one before this one. He did. There was 2 in 1 special.
Remember? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that might be it.
I don't know. But I like him. I just don't think. I happen to think there was one from Brian Regan that really killed me, and I thought the Louis C.K. one was really great. Where it starts off with you're in the rubble, like I don't know where you're watching this in the future. Maybe you're just sitting in the rubble. Like I loved that special. Yeah, and and so there's a lot of good ones on the Patrice O'Neill special.
Joe Coy did one from Hawaii.
I love Joe. What a nice guy.
Joe was really good.
Fucking nice guy. My God. Yeah, that's somebody who fame did not change at all.
Yeah,
really. I mean, I love when somebody like that makes it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he's a real cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen his last special. Just doing all about being home in Hawaii, and that was really cool.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, brother, I appreciate you coming out, everybody. Thank you, Brian Scolaro.
Hooray!
Everybody, we got through it. Thank you, Brian.
It was okay.
Awesome,
Bye.
buddy. Yeah.